Through the ball. Cantel all the way to the basket. Foul. Lays it in for two.
Hey, good morning and Happy New Year, basketball fans. Welcome to the Upstate Hoops Podcast on FingerLakes1.com. I'm Jim Sinacropi here inside the FingerLakes1.com studios on the third floor of the North Park building in Seneca Falls, New York. We're live on New Year's Eve, Sunday, December 31st, 2017. Time to get on board the Wayne train. Got three juniors from the Wayne boys varsity basketball team here defending Class A2 champions in Section 5. Well, we'll welcome them in just a moment. The Upstate Hoops Podcast and all of our coverage of Wayne Finger Lakes High School basketball is brought to you thanks to the support of Generations Bank, with locations in Auburn, Farmington, Geneva, Phelps, Seneca Falls, Union Springs, and Waterloo. They're online at mygenbank.com. And by Dr. Rod Littlejohn, delivering over 30 years of smiles with style. Visit littlejohnortho.com. And Bill Cram Chevrolet, where you'll save plenty on 5 and 20. Between Seneca Falls and Waterloo, browse their full inventory of new and used vehicles at BillCramChevrolet.com. So, last year I called them the Young Wayne Eagles because they were these three guys were in studio were just sophomores, but they led along with the rest of their team Wayne to the sectional championship, school's first ever sectional championship. But they grew up pretty fast in Fairport in that game, and so no longer the Young Wayne Eagles. Happy to welcome in Billy Thompson over there far right of your screen as you're looking at it. Logan Blankenberg and Nick Carmichael. Fellas, thanks for making the drive in.
No problem.
Yeah.
Maybe I should change the name of the Wayne train to the Polar Express today because it's pretty cold out. So, yeah, you guys, man, how much fun was that last year?
It was so much fun.
It was amazing.
Yeah, great experience.
And the amazing thing about it was you guys were just, like I said, sophomores at the time. So it was like, got this year and next year. And even Braden Zanelovic is back. He's been injured, but you guys literally lost nobody off of that A2 championship team.
Yeah.
So let me just quickly ask you guys a couple questions before we get into the weekly results here. I'll start with you, Billy. You play for your dad. What's that like when your dad's the coach?
I'm pretty lucky to have my dad as a coach. Sometimes he can be a little hard on me here and there, but it makes me tough as a player and as a person. So pretty grateful to have him as a coach.
Do you think he's harder on you than the other kids?
Yeah, but I like it though. It gets me going.
Nice, yeah. And let's go to Nick next. Nick, big country Carmichael. You remind me of Bryant Reeves a little bit. But I'll tell you, in that game against Wilson, they had a 7-footer, Phillips. His name was Phillips, not 7-footer. They had a big kid named Phillips. And you pretty much neutralized him. He ended up fouling out. And I don't think there's many big men in Section 5 basketball, and certainly not the Wayne Finger Lakes, that are true centers. It's almost like a throwback. And I've said on this podcast, I think you're the most underrated player in Section 5. A lot of people know about Zanelovic. They know that Blankenberg's scoring all these points. They know Billy's the point guard, the floor general. But I think you're a huge part of their success, and I don't think they win last year without you. So do you feel like underrated or like almost the third guy out, or do you feel like you're finally getting some respect as one of the top players in the league?
I'm getting some respect, but I'm respected by my players, by my teammates and coaches, and that's what's important. So I'm happy winning with them.
Right. Good answer. Can I call you Big Country going forward for the next 2 years?
Country, yeah.
I like to give some nicknames out. That one I think fits pretty good. And you should look on YouTube for Bryant Reeves. Watch some of his videos.
Okay.
Played at Oklahoma State and then had a nice little NBA career. So, Logan Blankenberg, 44 points earlier this week. What was it, Wednesday night, Tuesday night? 44 points. Is that the most you ever scored in a game?
Yeah, it is.
and you're on. I don't think that you really have a range. If you're open, you're going to shoot it, and I think that when in that A2 championship game against Wilson last year, when you hit a three, about a 24-footer from the top of the key with just under 2 minutes left, when you were up one at the time, that was like when that went in, you were like, wow, it's about we're going to win this game, right?
Yeah.
Cool.
I remember us going off. Nick set a great screen for me.
Yep.
I remember the big guy didn't come out as enough, and I just let it fly.
Yeah.
Went in.
Right in.
Yeah.
How far do you have to be behind the three-point line before it's a bad shot for you?
I don't know. It's up to Coach Thompson, right?
He's going to tell you no, don't shoot it from 40.
Maybe he'll say like that one's a little too deep if
it doesn't go in.
Yeah.
If it does go in, he says good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. So yeah, let's talk about last year's title game for a second here. You guys never won a sectional title in the school history. Part of that is because you're in A2. Like most of the Finger Lakes East is B.
Yeah.
You and Geneva are in A2. Now, Geneva won one a few years ago, and they have won sectional titles before, girls and basketball. I think the girls had won a sectional title in 2014 for Wayne.
Yeah.
But
they beat Geneva, actually.
yeah, that's right. A really good game. I think it went right down to the end. But you guys did something that nobody else in your school had ever done, and you did it as underclassmen for the most part, and Braden was a junior. How long did the afterglow of that win last? Were you sitting around the summer thinking, yeah, we won that sectional title?
It's kind of like we didn't want to have too big of heads going into this season because we knew that we'd have the X on our back, but I think we just gotta know that it's a new season. It's not just gonna be easy, because every team's gonna want to
Wayne train
beat us, Yeah. So I don't know. It's still gonna be tough, but we work hard and we've been playing together since we were younger. And
Yeah.
we all know our roles.
So have you all played together since third grade? Third grade, and what was that, a rec league, and then you did some AAU or travel together?
Yeah.
And is basketball all your favorite sports? Because I know that you guys play football too.
Oh, basketball's mine.
Basketball's mine.
I play football and lacrosse.
Lacrosse as well?
But I don't really have a favorite. When it's the season, I just like it.
Yeah, well, and I think, Logan, you're a tight end for football?
No, receiver.
Wide receiver? What position are you?
Football.
You don't play football?
No.
Oh, I thought you might be like a left guard or something like that. Did they try to get you on the football team?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Still
trying. We're still trying.
Yeah.
So not working though.
So the one guy out kind of from this year's, because you returned everybody, but then all of a sudden he was probably the leader of the team last year as a junior. Braden Zanelovic, quarterback of the football team, hurts his ankle. And I remember being like, oh man, I was so disappointed because I call him the Fresh Prince of Ontario. So now I'm thinking I'm not going to be able to use that, but he's recovering. And you guys have played this whole season without him. I think you're 8-1 or something like that. You won just one loss. That was to Pittsford Sutherland.
Yeah.
But how is his recovery coming, and do you expect him back with the team anytime soon?
I think his recovery's coming pretty good. I mean, he's working with the trainer. And he's been, made pretty good progress. He's already walking and starting to run even.
He's still there as a leader and coach though for us.
He's still
when he's
there.
Still on the bench.
Yeah.
All the time.
Does he come to all the practices?
Yeah.
Wow, that's pretty big, I think. Be easy just to say, look, I'll see you guys in a couple months. I'm going to go do whatever, but he's still been coming along.
Yeah.
It's something, too, I noticed that I think he was still on the sideline every football game.
Oh, yeah.
His brother was quarterback.
Yeah.
Now, do you play basketball with his brother, too? Garrett, is it? Is his brother named Garrett? Brayson.
Yeah,
Okay,
he just
Brayson.
played. He doesn't play basketball.
Oh, no?
No.
Okay. So, is there a timetable for him to rejoin you?
I don't think we know the exact time when he's coming back though, but he is progressing, and I think he will make it back for a couple games
before sectionals.
Yeah, before sectionals.
Okay. Because that's the tough thing, I think, is that you guys win A2 and really gave Aradna quite a pretty good game in Bloomfield, And then everybody's coming back. So the natural thing to assume is like, well, they're going to win again next year. Easy. But it's not that easy.
Oh, no.
It's not going to be easy at all. A2 is difficult. Leadership is in A2. East High. Wilson, of course. School of the Arts. Huntington Falls Lima's really good this year. Batavia is always tough. Monroe. It's different. It's tougher. I think if you guys were in Class B with the rest of the Finger Lakes East teams, like Newark and Mynderse and Penn Yan, that you might have a better percentage shot. But yeah, defending champs, you're going to have a target on your back. Last year, you kind of, I think, surprised a lot of people, and then
wasn't expected, really.
Yeah.
We thought.
Yeah, and especially, as I said, you guys are sophomores, so a lot of people probably thought, including me, I thought, man, this team's fun to watch. They're very good. Just imagine how they're going to be, when those guys are juniors and seniors, and then you win a sectional title as a sophomore, and so that was of all the things that happened last year, I'd say it was one of the best Wayne Finger Lakes seasons that I can remember. You had Mynderse boys and girls winning sectional titles. Mynderse had to play Newark in the Blue Cross. Yeah. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And and then they both go on to states in Class B. You had the Gananda girls win a sectional title and face off against South Seneca girls, who went back to the state Final Four. South Seneca did. You had the Gananda boys get to the finals against North Star Christian, and then you had you guys' victory. And I think of all the things that happened, that's the one that I think was the most exciting. The atmosphere in those gyms in Fairport and in Bloomfield for those games and the way the students turned out, it was awesome. So, hopefully this year's postseason will be just as good. So, I'm going to run through some results here from the week. We're not going to read every single score like we have been doing. We're getting long into the season now, so we're going to focus on some of the bigger games, and then I might ask you guys to jump in at some point if we go through these. But start with 4 games that are 3 boys games at NYCC in Seneca Falls on Thursday that we were webcasting live. South Seneca and Waterloo. Waterloo wins 64-43. Derek Sluka had 30 points. John Zajac had 21. And Waterloo, I think, is improving. They're young too. Sluka's a junior now. They have 3 sophomores of their own that are contributing. So hopefully they'll continue to progress. But a big win for Waterloo is their first win of the year. And then the second game was pretty interesting. Anytime you get a interleague game like this, Mid-Lakes taking on Lions, close all the way. Lions edges them out 72-65. Bryce Burry, 30 points. Justice Smith, 30 points. Justin Smith, Justice's younger brother, just a freshman, 19. He doesn't look like a freshman at all. And David Weaver had 13. Now, Bryce Burry is somebody that you guard when you guys play Mid-Lakes?
Well, we play zone, but...
Oh, you guys are zoning up. But talk a little bit about Bryce Burry's game.
Yeah, Bryce Burry is a really good player, actually. We got to respect him on the offensive and defensive end because he's a shooter and he can make big plays for them. And I don't know, he's just a respected player. He's good. Yeah,
he likes to let you know it too sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But you ever talk smack with Bryce Burry?
I never have, but I have heard of some stories of him talking smack. But that's just the game, makes it fun.
Well, I think he thrives off it a little bit. And I've seen teams use defensive schemes where they've been able to limit his success during a game, but he was taking whatever came to him on Thursday. Like I said, finished with 30. I think he had 5 or 6 assists as well. Great game, and watching him and Justice Smith battle it out was pretty awesome. Yeah. But the highlight ended up being the Mynderse-Clyde game. You had 2 state-ranked teams. Clyde in Class D, Mynderse in Class B. Generally, you're going to think that Mynderse is going to win this game, but it was a really interesting matchup, mainly because of Clyde's guards, Derek Chance, Marcus Chance, and Drew Carnivale against Mynderse. And it was a great game. Mynderse ends up pulling out a 1-point victory. It wasn't quite that close. Marcus Chance hit a 3 at the buzzer to pull it to within 1, but Mynderse opened up an 11, 12-point lead. Clyde came back, and Mynderse held them off. And that game was in Seneca Falls, not a home game for Mynderse, but it was in Seneca Falls. So that's another advantage for Mynderse. Hunter Haas had 22 points. Kellen Carher had 14 points. It was a great team effort. Mynderse playing balanced basketball. They're not really caring who's scoring. And what you're going to find with Mynderse this year is in most games you're going to have 7, maybe 8 guys score between 6 and 14 points. You're not going to have somebody scoring 25. So it was kind of odd that Hunter actually got into the 20s because that hasn't happened too often this year. Clyde, on the other hand, just 8 people on their roster, and Marcus Chance just went off that game. He didn't play the first quarter. He was late to practice. He didn't play the first quarter, but still had 31 points. And then Derek Chance ended up with 14, which is a little low. Mynderse did a good job controlling him. He had 8 first quarter points, and then Coach Korzaneski kind of changed the way they were dealing with him, limited him going forward. Drew Carnivale fouled out. He had just 7. So, for Mynderse to get a 1-point victory in which Derek Chance had 14 and Drew Carnivale only had 7, they should feel fortunate, or Clyde should feel like they maybe missed an opportunity. So then the very next night, Mynderse goes to Syracuse to play Syracuse's Academy of Science, SAS. It's a charter school. And they come out with a 52-49 win, so they're still undefeated. Kellen Carher, 15 points, back-to-back double-digit points for Kellen. Quentin Battle had 11. Jake Robinson had 8. But the biggest deal was Quentin Battle came out and guarded Williams for SAS, their best offensive player, and held him scoreless in the third quarter. That's kind of when Mynderse took control of the game. So Mynderse is undefeated. Now, we're going to preview that Mynderse game a little bit coming up, but I think in the Finger Lakes East, you got you guys, obviously, and you got Mynderse, and then Penn Yan looks really good. They're all seniors this year, a real senior-dominated team. And then Newark, Newark has a bad overall record because they schedule so tough, but they only have 1 league loss right now, so it looks like a 4-team race here in the East right now, and with if the money would be on you and Mynderse. What do you talk about Mynderse a little bit? Logan, talk about Mynderse a little bit.
They're well coached. You always got good shooters. Play tough D. It's never easy, especially going to their place and win.
Which will be there Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
now they don't have Jake Mean anymore. You had to contend with him in the past, so now it should be a field day for you, right?
Yeah.
Against Mynderse?
Yeah, hopefully. But
they have a couple big guys. They got Jake Robinson. Darren Miller is got size, but he plays like a guard. But they don't have that. Like Jake was always in the middle. He had to be tough to contend with. He was a player of the year last year in the East.
Yeah, and they have a good basketball tradition. They'll know what to do. They're not just going to let me go in there and dominate.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they'll have a plan.
Yeah.
They'll have a plan. So yeah, unfortunately, that is probably the most anticipated game of the year. And so when the schedule comes out, we've got Lions and Clyde on the same night. Clyde at Lions. So then we had to figure out what we were going to do, and so we're going to come and webcast the Mynderse at Wayne game in February. Mm-hmm. So that could be a game for the league championship, and we'll be in Lions, which I don't want to say I'm disappointed because Clyde Lions at Lions, there's nothing like it in the world. Their gym is tiny, and both teams are really good this year. It's going to be a great game, but I'm going to be a little envious that we're not there in Seneca Falls because I'm excited to see how that matchup plays out between you and Mynderse. So we'll be getting updates, I'm sure. Speaking of Clyde, they were in action yesterday and haven't lost 2 of their last 3. They lost to C.G. Finney at home. They lost to Mynderse. And now they had a really tough game at home against Section 3's Fowler, and they won 83-79. Drew Carnivale back on track with 30, Derek Chance with 23, Marcus Chance with 18. And then also on Saturday, heading out of the section, Mid-Lakes. They took on Groton. They're a Class C school out of Section 4. Bryce Burry, 21 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, as Mid-Lakes wins 60-40. Devin Hicks had 13, Trevor Millman had 10 rebounds. They played that game at Wells College. And Newark was in Elmira every year. They go to Elmira this week. Play, I don't know if they call it the Palmer. It's a Christmas tournament. But, again, Newark just scheduling tough out-of-league competition. And they picked up another loss on Thursday, losing to Elmira Notre Dame 58-51. The next day, Friday, they win against Mansfield. They're actually out of Pennsylvania. I don't know how that works for sectional points, but 59-50, Newark wins that one. So they split on the weekend. And then you guys host your own tournament every year, right? What's the name of that tournament?
Connor Burns
Memorial, yeah.
Who's Connor Burns, you know him?
He was a former player that played for my dad, and I think he passed away.
Died of cancer.
Yeah, cancer. He dropped dead with a heart condition, I think.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So
it's a nice
So they named the tournament for him. And that's nice, though, not having to travel on a holiday week. You get to host, and you guys won it. That makes it even better. Greece Olympias, 80-65 on Wednesday in the first round. Then you beat Northeast Douglas, 62-47. And Douglas, that's another A2 team, right? I believe they're in A2 with you. And what class is Olympia?
They're B.
They're B school.
It used to be A. Okay. Dropped to B.
So in that first round game, you scored 44, Logan. Like, you said that's your career high. Were you just with most of them 3-pointers, or?
No, they're a little bit of both. I mean, teammates were finding me when I was open. I was hitting open shots.
And some deep ones, they weren't getting out on you?
A little bit, yeah. They left me open a couple of times. I don't know.
Did you have any idea that you were scoring that much during the game? Nick's nodding.
I mean, I didn't have that much. I mean, kind of in the first half, I was scoring a bunch, but then I don't know. It kind of felt I had average night, but then you looked in the book, it was
a lot more than average.
Yeah.
So
it's more of because it was more of a faster paced game. We kind of played the way they did, up and down,
right?
Not really settling down, running.
Do you guys recognize that he was hot and start looking for him?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think the school record was like 44 or something like that, and Logan had the ball at the baseline. He ended up giving it to me. Why are you passing it to me?
So you tied the school record, or you're not sure?
I think it tied.
I think you tied it, but you could have beat it.
Well, the next night, Nick, you had 22 points and 14 rebounds, and Logan, you had 20 points and 16 rebounds against, like I said, a fellow A2 team. 16 rebounds, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Did you need to? How come so many rebounds that game?
I don't know, just playing the bottom of the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Got the weak side, especially weak side rebounds are important in that.
And was that a good matchup for you, Nick? That's why they were going to you?
Yeah, they didn't have many bigs.
So
one at all.
So
more guard-oriented team.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so how do you like to get the ball on the block? Like, do you like to get it with your back to the basket?
Back to the basket, yeah. That's what I've been doing since third grade. That's what I kind of got good at.
And then go to work.
Yeah.
Well, like you said, I think you guys are 8-1. Is that right?
7-1.
7-1 right now after those 2 wins this weekend.
Yeah.
So I'm going to kick it over now to look at the girls' side of things for the week. And we started out on Wednesday night, where Naples beat South Seneca. So that was kind of shocking. Anytime you see South Seneca girls lose, now they've lost 2 league games. It's kind of shocking. But Naples is pretty good. Haley Langen, 15 points and 25 rebounds. Autumn Coons, 13. Sarah Glavine, 10 points, 13 rebounds. They got a couple of 6-foot girls on that team. Jade Parsons, 14.7 rebounds for South Seneca. Skylar Shawless, 14 points, 10 rebounds. And we had South Seneca in the top 3 of our preseason power rankings because they did lose a lot, but we looked at who they had coming back, and we thought they would be a good bet to contend still for, to win their 3rd straight sectional title. Maybe not to return to the state Final Four for a 3rd straight year, but so to see them lose at home, that game was at the Jack Guinan Arena in Oban, to Naples was kind of shocking. But I still think this team will continue to get better. They're a young team. They have some freshmen and sophomores who are contributing for the first time. And so I still like their chances to repeat. They'll be in C2 this year. And the Red Creek girls played on Wednesday, one day before we had them in the NYCC Holiday Classic against Mynderse. And they lost to Marion by 10. And I was like, yeah, they were undefeated before that. So we'd been billing it as an undefeated Red Creek versus Mynderse game. But Marion had different plans. 60-50, Marion wins that one. And then the next night, they faced Mynderse. And this was a game that I had been touting as being, it was going to be a close game. I was even telling some of the coaches for Mynderse, yeah, but Red Creek's good. I think it's going to be a good game. Maybe the line is Mynderse minus 2 or 3. But Mynderse didn't have any problem. 58-35. Izzy Wilbur had 17 for Red Creek. Mary Dole had 16 points, really shot the lights out. Hannah Brown-Trice, 13 points, 9 rebounds. Heidi Miller, 13 points in that win for Mynderse. And that was a matchup of 2 top 5 teams in our power ranking. But it does. There's a gap, I think, between the Finger Lakes East and Wayne County on the girls' side. Maybe not so much at the top of the Wayne County League for the boys, with the top of the Finger Lakes East for the boys. But in girls, I think there's definitely a gap there, because Red Creek's certainly one of the best teams in Wayne County, along with Gananda this year. So our number 1 ranked team in our power rankings, Mid Lakes, took on Corcoran on Thursday and won 62-52. Elena Forbes had 29 points. Kara Walker's just a freshman, 15 points, 9 rebounds for her. Macy Kisner, 8 rebounds. And then Geneva's been getting back on track. Treasure Bruce is back in action, and they've been really struggling, but they got a really nice win at Edison Tech Thursday, 59-56. Lauren Devaney, 21 points, 12 rebounds. Mackenzie Moore, 11. Treasure Bruce, 9 points, 7 steals. Then the next day, Friday, Geneva plays Churchville Chili and wins by 1, 42-41. Again, Devaney led the way with 15 points, 14 rebounds. Treasure Bruce with 7. Mackenzie Moore, 5 points, 4 assists. And then Saturday night, great girls game here. Finger Lakes East girls against Wayne County girls. Mid Lakes at Gananda. Mid Lakes wins 59-52 to move to 10-0. Elena Forbes, 24 points. Kara Walker, 19. Claire DeBoover, 12. So that kind of wraps up the week in Wayne Finger Lakes, and it was a short. There's a lot of games, but in a short window. Of course, Monday was Christmas, and not any games Tuesday, so those were all Wednesday through Saturday games. And so we're going to talk to these guys from Wayne a little more. Then we're going to give you our power rankings. We're going to take a look at some of the big games coming up this week. So what do I got here for you? Is the Wayne Train the best student section in the Wayne Finger Lakes? Or all of Section 5 maybe?
Yeah, I think it's pretty good.
Go ahead.
We just spread the word a lot, and a lot of kids from our school go to the games and get a lot of supporters and stuff. It makes it fun playing in the game, knowing that you have a good fan section.
Yeah, when we went to cover the A2 final, we were doing 2 games at once for the first time ever on Finger Lakes 1. So our main rig and setup was at Rush Henrietta, where we were doing 2 girls games. And so then we set up with our secondary rig right next to the student section, and they ruined our broadcast because they were so loud, like it was overpowering our equipment right next to us, and it took us until the second half before we kind of got things dialed in. But yeah, and then we go to Bloomfield the next week for the A2 versus A1 state playing game, and they just packed that far end of the gymnasium.
Oh yeah, Radiquate had a fan section
too.
So they were dwarfed, I think, by the Wayne Train.
Also, because the snow, I remember they had bad.
Oh, there's a windstorm the night before. That game got pushed back.
And they were in a state of emergency.
Everyone else still made it out though.
Yeah. Yep. So you win a sectional title. What are the team goals this year, heading into this year?
I think just keep playing together as a team, without Braden, people have got to step up and score a little bit more. Like Logan and Nick are scoring a lot, but you got other guys that are doing their roles, and like Logan Halgado, he's doing really well. Yeah. Tommy Bolt knows as well. Max Larocco is actually coming off the bench.
All 3 of those guys had experience last year and during that sectional run. Who's the third kid you named? LaRocca?
Yeah, Max Larocco.
Yeah, he came up from JVs, right?
Yeah.
And then the other 2 guys were with you all year.
Mm-hmm. So Brandon Nowak's been playing.
Yeah, Brandon Nowak's been playing really well.
Jaden Burley's giving us good minutes too off the bench.
Nice. And so then now somewhere along the line you're going to add Zanilovic back and you guys really haven't. I don't want to say you haven't missed a beat without him because he was a big part of the team, but you guys have continued to obviously win basketball games with him being out, and so it'll almost be a luxury when he comes back. And it's not like you've been, been hurting without him. You know, you guys have still been winning games. So is this year a disappointment if you don't win a sectional title?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a lot of pressure to put on yourself.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, but
I think I can liken it kind of South Seneca girls. They won a state title 2 years ago, and then they brought everybody back, and all season long, everybody's like assuming they're going to win another state title, and they just don't understand how difficult it is. Not only win a state title, but even with bringing everybody back to win another sectional title, and then to get to the state Final Four again like they did. I thought it was almost unfair because just to get back to the state Final Four is amazing. Once you get there, you're playing just great teams. Anything can happen. Basketball games are short, 32 minutes long. So I think you put a little pressure on yourselves if that's what the goal is to repeat.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you did it as sophomores, and now you're still fortunate enough to have 2 more years left to play together. So ideally, you'd like to win a couple more sectional titles, or maybe get as far as states.
Yeah, just take one game at a time.
Yeah. But you guys are in a tougher position than the rest of the Wayne Finger Lakes leagues. You and Geneva being the only ones that are Class A. It's just it seems like another ball game, a whole nother level. And that's not to say that there can't be teams in B or C or even D sometimes that are excellent teams that could beat an A team. But as a general rule, you're going to have tougher competition up there in the A's. So knowing what it took last year to win a sectional title, and then knowing how you guys have been doing so far this year, what do you have to improve on between now and the postseason to give yourself the best shot?
I would say right now probably be turnovers and kind of just settling down a little bit and running our plays more a little bit.
You guys?
I think it had to definitely be just make sure our defense for sure. That's what definitely got us to where we were last year.
So what kind of defense are you playing this year?
Zone.
2-3 zone?
Yeah.
Trapping a lot out of that zone? Or?
No, not much. I mean, just not letting penetration probably. Not letting anybody split and score easy buckets stuff like that.
So what happens, let's say you go to Seneca Falls and you're playing in the 2-3 zone and Devin Anderson hits a 3 and then Quentin Battle hits a 3.
Yeah.
Do you guys push out a little more? Do you ever come out of the zone?
Actually, Mynderse was one of the only games last year that we ever came out of the zone.
Yeah.
Was it because they were shooting?
Yeah, they were up 16 too early.
Yeah,
I think we went to man. We had to.
I remember when they came to our place early last year.
Yeah. So this Mynderse game on Friday is going to go a long way towards the Finger Lakes East title race. Is the league championship something that matters to you? Who won the East last year?
Mynderse won.
Yeah. So you guys have won a sectional title, but you haven't won a league title yet. Does that matter to you at all? They usually don't hang banners in the gym for league titles, but I always thought that these are the guys you play every year. You want to kind of win the league.
I don't think Wayne's ever won a Finger Lakes East league title. I don't know.
Not even, no.
No, they haven't.
Geez, I'm forgetting the guys had some good players.
Trey Lamora.
And who was the tall kid?
Mike
Hollenbeck.
Hollenbeck, that was a good team. I remember Lamora gave Hollenbeck a nice alley-oop in Seneca Falls. And they were fun. That was a very good team as well.
Really good team.
Probably not as well-rounded as you guys, but they had a lot of talent.
Yeah, they did.
I don't think they played together for as long as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it,
Yeah.
So, still kind of, you're upperclassmen now, but you still need to be improving individually. What are you three working on individually to get better? In the off season, what evaluate your own game, Billy. What do you need to do better?
I think personally, I need to be more of a more of a vocal leader on the court, especially with Braden now. He was kind of like the guy that would tell us like where we need to be and stuff. But like I'm the point guard and I need to like set things up and run the team and stuff. And I think that's what I need to work on.
Okay, how about you, Logan?
I mean, also along with Bill, like
work on your shooting, your outside shooting.
Yeah, that and
Come on.
a vocal leader.
Yeah,
and finishing probably around the basket, best strength and strong.
Yeah, going to the basket, especially if you're a shooter. If you can go to the basket, then that makes them respect. That makes it very difficult to defend. How about you, Nick?
I'm becoming a vocal leader as well, but I'm not the quickest guy in the world, so I need to work on becoming quicker and jumping higher for my game.
Okay. You all say vocal leader. Like what? Who? Like last year, you guys weren't vocal enough with each other. You didn't feel like it as sophomores that you really were in a position to talk too much, and you left that to like Braden. Or
yeah, I think we just need to be more of like a vocal leader. Like I don't think like we weren't. I just think like we could talk just a little bit more on the court.
Yeah.
Now, Billy, you had a ton of rebounds that championship game too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was big. I actually watched a little bit of that game last night just to kind of refresh my memory, and man, it was amazing. It was just an awesome game. That gym was overflowing with people, and it was so loud. And yeah, one thing that I noticed is you came up with a lot of rebounds, a lot of loose balls. For the most part, you guys made your free throws.
Mm-hmm.
Logan, you had 2 huge shots. One in the first half as the quarter was winding down, I think, from almost a hash mark, and then that one with 2 minutes left, which the gym almost exploded when that went in. And then, like I said, you had your hands full with the Phillips kid, and he ended up fouling out. And it was just it was great. That was a great day, no doubt. So what's a practice with Coach Thompson like? Just run me through it. You show up, you put your sneakers on, and then what happens?
I don't know.
Layups? You start off with layups or what?
Start out with like stretch.
Stretch first.
Okay.
And you got the three-man
drill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then a transition drill.
Drill. One of those.
3-on-2, 2-on-1 stuff.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah.
If you're a basketball player, you gotta love 3-on-2, 2-on-1 fast break drill.
Shooting drill.
Shooting drill.
And then work on something different every day.
Yeah.
Defense, offense, whatever.
Gotcha. Do they ever run you for anything?
If we're not focused.
If we're not focused, but now, after every time we finish a drill, one person's got to go to the free throw line, and if they miss it, then
everybody runs.
We have to run until somebody makes a free throw after every drill.
Yeah, I started doing that. I coached my daughter's 12-year-old rec team, and I started doing that too. But 12-year-old girls aren't as good as free throws, so I had to revise that a little bit. We'd never go home.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Finger Lakes East schedule's really kicking into gear now. Who are some of the better players that you guys match up with individually? Like, how we'll start with you, Nick. Who are some of the better big men that you're going to have to contend with in the East?
Clemens from Newark,
the big treat.
He's big. And he's kind of taken on since he lost a lot of guards. He's like the main focus.
And he's been there. I think this is his 11th year on varsity. I think he came up on varsity when he was 9.
Yeah. So that'll be, and then Milliman from Mid Lakes is always tough.
Yeah, he is. Good football player.
Yeah.
Those are 2 true big men, and like I said, they're kind of rare, hard to find nowadays. Guys like that and guys like you. How about you, Logan?
I don't know, maybe like a Batten from Penyan, maybe or Billy, or that'd be me. I don't know.
Yeah, Desmond Batten.
Yeah, any taller guard probably be on my.
Yeah, and you play with these guys too outside of the league, like in AAU. You play with them or against them?
Oh yeah, I've played it with a bunch of those guys from Geneva, Penyan too.
Who are some of the guys from Geneva? Reed Patchett.
I played with Adrian Porter.
Yeah,
I played with him. I played with Batten before. Who else? I don't know. I can't think. Top of my head. Carnivale.
Oh, yeah. Now, Carnivale, you and Carnivale are very similar, I think. You and Drew Carnivale in terms of you're both tall guards and you both have unlimited range. And I think poor Drew is, if you watch Clyde, like I say, there are only 8 people on the roster, 8 kids on the roster, and he's the tallest one. So he's got a lot of pressure on him to do a lot of different things that maybe having someone like Nick on the roster will take a little pressure off you. But yeah, you guys are very similar, I think, when watching you both play, you and Drew. So how about you, Billy? Who are some of the players in the league that get you worried?
Bryce Burry, Carriher, Battle. Yeah, those guys. They're all good.
Yeah, I'm thinking of some other guys in the East. Carriher and I mean, those guys you mentioned, they're all kind of different, and mainly it's because of the position they're in. So Bryce on mid-lakes, he has to score, or they're going to struggle. Yeah. Kellen and Mynderse, Kellen Carriher doesn't have to score. He can distribute and look to pass more. It's kind of a luxury, I guess. And I think that's one of the things that makes Mynderse tough this year is that they are so balanced and they have so many guys that score, but nobody's upset at the end of the game. Nobody's looking at the box score at the end of the game and saying, "Oh man, I only scored 8. I'm upset." They're just happy to win. Something I've noticed so far, and sometimes it's other statistical categories. So I know Kellen is usually concerned with assists, and Quentin Battle is usually concerned with steals. How does that work with you guys playing together? Is it do you ever worry about stats or feel like you're not getting enough shots up? And Logan scoring 44. Do you man, now I got to score 44?
No, I think that goes along with all of us knowing our roles on the court. Like we know he's gonna score every game. It's just whether or not other guys are gonna have a good game as well. You know what I mean? But my job is to just run the team and keep making good passes and just being aggressive. And Nick boxing out, rebounding, scoring, and then we got our other guys that we were talking about that know their roles. They come in the game and they know what they have to do. They're not trying to score 20 points. They're just trying to be a team player.
Yeah. So I think another thing that can be a disadvantage for you guys a little bit is, as far as the league goes, there's Wayne Finger Lakes teams that are up there with you, like Ananda and ER. But in the Finger Lakes East, you are traveling more than anybody else for road games. You're traveling all the way down to Seneca Falls, all the way down to Penn Yan. And everybody's got to go to you once, but it seems like every road game is at least a half an hour bus ride for you guys. Is that something that's tough or doesn't seem to matter much?
Kind of just listen to our music and get ready before the game.
Stay focused. Yeah.
Tommy Bolt has a speaker that we always blast music.
So what about because you're actually up there closer to some of the Rochester leagues and stuff. Do you ever wish you were playing in some of those leagues, or are you happy in the East?
Rochester leagues, a bunch of teams are every night is going to be really, really high level game. I mean, you around the court now. They're still good. They got
the drum goal kid's back, isn't he?
And transfer from Bishop Carmichael.
Yeah,
Freddie's back.
Yeah, that was
Stingling's brother is back.
Yeah. You could tell you were a little outmatched that game before it started, but you kept it. You kept it close. From within reach for most of the game. What if you could go back to that game and take a different approach? Is there anything you would do different, pregame, to prepare for that Irondequoit team?
I think we brought the energy in the beginning, but I think after the first half, I think we were just all drained. We were so tired after the first half because we were just playing, nothing to regret,
Yeah.
So.
Did your dad go down?
Yeah,
his dad went down. He did something.
I think something happened.
Hurt his neck or something. I don't know. He yelled and something happened.
Oh that's right. There was an incident in the game where your dad, they didn't know exactly what happened. What did it end up being? A pulled muscle or something?
I don't know. I was playing and I looked over. I'm like, whoa, what just happened?
I think we lost some energy right before the first half of that.
Yeah.
And they went on a run. Brought it within I think they brought it within 2 before the end of the first half. So we were up 8 or something.
We had free throws that we missed too.
Oh yeah. At the end of the game.
That would have been big. It would have given us a lead, I think.
Well, if you're gonna beat a team like that, you almost got to shoot good free throws from the straight for sure. So, I think we might talk about this before the show started, but what other sports you guys playing besides basketball?
I play football and lacrosse.
Playing football.
It's basketball. For
Just
me.
basketball.
Yeah.
And what about like hobbies? What other hobbies outside of sports? Collect stamps or anything?
We all work at Wegmans.
Yeah, we work at one.
Oh, really?
There.
Up in Ontario? Is there Wegmans in Ontario?
No, it's
And
actually
Webster.
Webster
Paul
and,
Road.
and Wegmans. So what do you do? What's your roles there?
I work the register.
Yeah,
Okay.
Cashiers.
I'm outside.
Yep.
I do cards.
Nice. I'll just pop into Webster sometime.
Yeah.
Webster Wegmans. It's a
Actually,
great place to work, right?
Max
Yeah.
Rocco works there too.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Well, they got some kind of program there to get the Wade basketball team there.
Yeah.
Okay, so Friday night, and maybe it's not basketball season. Maybe it's in the summer. What are you guys doing like a Friday night?
Probably
Go to someone's house and
go someone play
hang out,
basketball.
yeah.
Play basketball.
Are you guys friends
Oh.
away from the team
Yeah.
too? So you would hang out with each other on a Friday
Yeah.
night?
Yeah.
Is that true? Like the whole team?
For the most part.
Yeah, for the
Yeah.
most part, yeah, most of the team.
And so, where would you like to go out to eat in Ontario? So what restaurants do you like?
Constantino.
Constantino's, yeah.
Everybody?
Yeah.
You ever have any team dinners there?
After the game, a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I think for football we
In
did.
football, we had team dinner.
Yeah, we had team dinner there.
Did you have a big banquet type of dinner after the sectional title when the season was over? Was there some type of year-end type of?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
actually went over to Nick's house.
Yeah,
Right
right
after
after the game. Right
Yeah.
after the game.
It was like everyone
Then we
was
slept at
there.
your house.
Yeah.
I saw the Blaze.
Well, I must have my invite must have got lost in the mail. If you win this year and we're going to Nick's house, I'll come over too. Are you grilling
We'll
out?
invite you.
I don't know if my wife will let me go, but I'd love to go. I bet you there's some good eating going on over at the Carmichael house. Like what? So what was on the menu?
I think we got pizza and wings.
Nice.
Wings.
From Cosentino's, or is there another pizzeria in Ontario that you guys?
Cam's
Cam's.
Pizzeria.
Cam's Pizzeria. Okay,
Actually,
yeah.
Sue's is pretty good too.
Who's that?
Sue's?
Sue's Pizza.
Yeah. Really good.
Okay. I know now you guys. I usually ask. Certainly with seniors, I'll ask plans after high school. You guys are still juniors. Do you have any plans yet for after high school? Have you thought about that yet, or in terms of like what you want to do when you grow up, or what you want to study in college, or anything like what you want to play sports after high school?
Yeah. I want to play sports after high school.
At this point, do you think there's like you mentioned, you play the 3 sports? Which one
Yeah.
would you be most likely to play?
Probably lacrosse.
Lacrosse?
Yeah, probably, yeah.
How about you, Logan?
Basketball, yeah.
Basketball?
in college, yeah.
What about football? You've got to be there's got to be some people looking at you as a receiver. You got
Yeah.
good height and speed, and
I was more into basketball.
yeah. Nick, next level basketball.
Yeah,
You
I would
thinking?
like to. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there'd be a lot of people that would like to have you come on like a D3 program.
Yeah.
No doubt. Okay, but nothing yet in terms of like certain specific schools that you guys would. What would be your dream school, Nick? If you had a dream school.
Well, the dream school that I would like to go to is North Carolina, but
Oh.
I know I'll never play for them.
Yeah, well, they're. I thought you might say Syracuse,
No.
seeing they're up here.
Nah, he's a bandwagon. It's all good.
ACC. No, they. Well, actually, if you did go there, you'd probably get really good grades because they don't seem to care there about, academically. They'll just and they won't get punished by the NCAA. But how about you guys? Any dream schools or not?
Probably Syracuse.
Syracuse?
Yeah.
Syracuse also.
Yeah. Well, there you go. I like these guys.
Yeah.
North Carolina. Okay. Well, let's take a quick look here at the week ahead because it's a good one. It is a good one. Here, if you give me a second here to find it. Or wait, before we do that, I think we should probably move ahead with the power rankings. Okay.
All right.
We're just going to pop them up there now. Week 5 power rankings. There they are. Wayne Eagles number 1 still. Miners number 2. It doesn't really matter because obviously whatever happens Friday is going to determine who's number 1 and number 2 in the power rankings next week. Clyde Savannah, despite that loss to Mynderse, is still 3. Penn Yan stays at 4. East Rochester stays at 5. Lions moves up, I think, 1 or 2 from up to 6. They had a nice week with that win over Mid-Lakes. And then Newark, despite having a losing record right now, still number 7. Good on to boys. 8. Mid-Lakes drops to 9. Marcus Whitman slides into 10. But when you look at that top 7 and the top 8, or top 9, excuse me, they're all Finger Lakes. There's 5 Finger Lakes East teams, but when you look at the top 4, Wayne, Mynderse, Penn Yan, and you can't discount Newark yet. Like, the jury's still kind of out on Newark with me because I just haven't seen enough of them. We saw Mynderse beat them pretty good at home in Newark, which is something they haven't done in 6 years, and so that kind of created some separation. But Newark's been playing some tough competition, and I know Jaden Peters had a rough start to the year. He's been playing better, so I think we might see Newark contend as well in the East. And so you guys haven't played any of those teams yet. No. So you're going to have 2 games against each one of them coming up, starting with Mynderse on Friday. So we're going to learn a lot, and these power rankings will kind of reshuffle, I guess, as a result of that. So let's look at the girls' side of things now. And Midlake stays number 1. They're 10-0. Bloomfield's still undefeated. Mynderse at 3. Red Jacket's been tough in the West at 4. Bloomfield edged them at Red Jacket last week. Penn Yan girls have been tough. Haven't really seen them yet. I think they might be playing Mynderse this week. We'll look at the week games for the week ahead coming up. Palmac's been impressive. Gananda gave Midlakes a game. And then Red Creek, with 2 losses this week to Marion and Mynderse, falls to 8. Geneva back into the top 10 at 9, and Marion actually stays at 10, even though they beat Red Creek. South Seneca fell out. South Seneca Naples probably 11 and 12, just out. There's just not enough room in there for them, but they'll have a chance, obviously, to make their way back into the top 10. And Naples girls have been resurgent. The Finger Lakes West girls has been great. It's really been exciting. I think there's some sectional contenders in there in the West. So yeah, there's a look at the girls side of things for the power rankings. Do you guys follow the power rankings? You guys knew you were number 1 in the power rankings
season. Yeah.
Would it bother you, like, if Mynderse was number 1 right now? Would that, like, bother you?
I don't think that stuff really matters.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Just gotta play the game, and whatever happens, happens.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I say too, because actually we do get some negative, some feedback from people that sometimes get mad at where they're ranked in the power rankings. I said, this doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And like in that particular case, Mynderse Wayne going to be 1 versus 2 on Friday night in Seneca Falls. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that, if you ask me. So speaking of the week ahead, as we're starting to run a little bit low on time. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I just want to show you this little graphic here. We talked about sectional championships. I don't know if you can see it up there by school, but these are Wayne Finger Lakes Section 5 basketball champions in the last 10 years. And when we put this together, I was kind of shocked that Mynderse had so many. So they're noticeably more than anybody else. 3 on the girls, 4 on the boys in the last 10 years. Newark 2-2. Newark had a couple years too where they were up in A2 with you guys. Marion had a lot of success early in the last decade on the girls' side, and of course Lions has more Section 5 titles than anybody other than East High, with a couple 13 and 15. One of those was a trip to the state Final Four, but it looks like a lot, but we're talking 10 years, and then there's so many teams on that list with just 1, and then there's a lot of teams on there that aren't, the last schools in the Wayne Finger Lakes that aren't even there. I mean, you're talking about 27 teams in the Wayne Finger Lakes. So just to point out how difficult it is to win a sectional title, let alone not even being in A2. So it's nice. You guys did it last year. They can't take it away from you, right?
Yeah.
So, let's see here. Week ahead. Okay, there it is. We've got Wednesday night, CG Finney at Mynderse. They beat Clyde. Clyde and Mynderse played for 1 game. That should be a good game. CG Finney likes to get up and down. That Clyde game was 93-87. It was pretty entertaining. Mid-Lakes at Livonia. Be a good test for Mid-Lakes. Livonia's been tough this year, especially in games against Wayne Finger Lakes I think they're 2-0 so far. Wayne at Mynderse Friday night, of course. That's a big one. Finger Lakes 1 will be in Lyons at the Atwood for Clyde versus Lyons. It's just going to be a crazy game. It's a madhouse over there. It should be pretty crazy at Arthur L. Baker in Seneca Falls, too. Mid-Lakes at Penn Yan. Big game for Mid-Lakes if they want to have any shot at finishing near the top of the East. They're going to have to beat Penn Yan. Of course, Penn Yan, entertaining, winning the East. They can't lose to Mid-Lakes. Newark at Waterloo. Newark looking to get back on track with some league wins. East Rochester at Gananda on the boys' side. ER has been that team that's really stepped up and look like they're going to compete with Clyde and Lyons in Wayne County. And, of course, Gananda boys are tough, too, having already lost to Lyons and Clyde once. They need to beat East Rochester if they want to have a say in what happens in Wayne County. On the girls' side of things, South Seneca at HAC. Heather Mott's squad, HAC is tough. They don't want to lose another league game. That's a big game for South Seneca girls. Red Jacket at Marcus Whitman. Red Jacket's starting to look, along with Bloomfield, to be the class of the West. Marcus Whitman's got great things going on down there for their girls program. That'll be a good game. And then probably the game of the year in Wayne County basketball, Red Creek at Gananda on Thursday. That's a huge game. The winner of that, obviously a huge leg up in that league race. And then Friday night, Marcus Whitman at Romulus for the girls. Bloomfield at South Seneca. Braylon Scott brings her talents down to Ovid in another huge game for in the West. Honeoye at Red Jacket. Geneva at Pelmac will be a tough one, and Penn Yan at Mid-Lakes on the girls' side of things as well. Sydney Bloom and Penn Yan against Elena Forms in Mid-Lakes. As I mentioned, we're going to be in Clyde for the Route 31 rivalry at the Atwood, and then next Tuesday, we'll be back here next weekend for another episode of the podcast, but then next Tuesday, we're going to have these guys, Wayne at Mid-Lakes. That'll be a radio game with a video replay, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you guys take the court in Clifton Springs for that one. So, what we got, about 2 minutes here. Thanks, fellas, for coming out.
Thanks for having us.
Long drive.
Yeah, thank you.
I can't tell you how much I enjoyed last season, what you guys did. It was fantastic. And the nice, like I said, the nice thing is that everything that happened with that, it happened. It's done. You can't take it away from you. You'll remember it forever, and no matter what happens going forward, that has to be pretty good memories that maybe you guys make you sleep a little easier at night when you put your head on the pillow. Think about that last year, right?
Yeah.
So good luck. Good luck rest of the way, guys. And we're going to see you 3 times, actually. If I got time, maybe I can throw this up here real quick. We're really short on time. Our webcast schedule for the rest of the way. You see Wayne's on there 3 times at Mid-Lakes, and then we get Mynderse at Wayne. That's going to be a big one on February 6th, and then Wayne at Newark on the day before Valentine's Day. And then, of course, we'll hope to see you guys have another good run in the postseason. So thanks again, and thanks.
Thank you for having us.
For my sweet Wayne shirt. Look at this. Beautiful, huh? I'll wear this to the next Mynderse game and see what happens.
Yeah, that might not be good.
So again, appreciate it, fellas. Thanks. Good luck rest of the way.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us. Thank you.
So, thanks for joining us on the Upstate Hoops podcast. Connect with us on Twitter at FingerLakes1. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Our audio-only podcast is available on iTunes and Stitcher.com. Archived episodes are available at Finger Lakes 1 TV, and this podcast airs weekly on Tuesday night at 7 o'clock on Finger Lakes TV Spectrum Channel 12. You can also find our show, live stream games, and local news, weather, and sports 24/7 on the free FingerLakes1.com Android or iPhone app. I'm Jim Sinacropi. Happy New Year. Have a great week, and we'll see you again live from the Atwood Gymnasium in Lyons on Friday night.